What's up, guys? Freaky back, and we are reporting to you live from London, baby. Now, first of all, sorry for the long wait. For you two fans that have been asking me, when is the new video coming? When is the new video coming? Well, I've been having a lot of relocation challenges, finding a new place, settling down and all that. This is where I'm going to be for a while, so I've had to taking my time to get myself settled in first and then walk around how to start shooting videos again and setting up and all of that shebang. Well, Freaky is back. Spread the word. Now, on to the matter of the day. Not many filmmakers can bring me out of the dark like Kunle Afolayan. Kunle Afolayan is one of those filmmakers that I look up to. What? Where's my ring?
One eternity later.
This man is somebody I look up to, and I always look forward to his movies every single time. He dropped the movie on the 6th of November. Citation. His movies are usually not, typical Nollywood standard, if you know what I mean. So since the movie dropped, there has been so much talk, especially from some particularly arrogant students, of the greatest boo-boo. If you know, you know. First things first, spoiler alert. If you have not seen Citation, get the fuck out of here. Log on to your Netflix, watch it, and then come back. So Citation is loosely based around the sexual harassment scandals that went viral in 2019. It was a documentary called Sex for Grades by BBC Nigeria or BBC Africa. I can't remember now, but it was BBC anyways. There was a lot of talk about how lecturers in Nigerian universities were exploiting their female students for sex in exchange for good grades and all that. When these cases were brought forward, there wasn't really much the university did about it. They just went around like it was business as usual. And I appreciate this story for being told because the world needs to know more about this. Citation really does that. A little bit too accurate, as a matter of fact. If these things are happening in the real world, then isn't our education sector and justice department in serious trouble? So the story centers around Moremi Oluwa, played by Temi Otedola, which I have to say, she did well. She did well. This is her first movie ever, and I think yeah, she did quite well for herself. More on that later. So the story is about Moremi Oluwa in a case trying to prove that a lecturer tried to rape her. There's not much concrete evidence on ground. She's a victim. It's pretty much a case of my word against yours. She has become the face of sexual harassment by lecturers because her story had gone super viral on the internet. So there is so much pressure coming at her from different angles, and she has to win the case, in kind of a do or die case, so to speak. So that's pretty much the extent of the summary that I can give. This review has spoilers. I'm just considering some of you stubborn ones who have not seen the movie but yet you are watching a review that has spoilers in it. Get the F out. So first, I'm going to start with the positives, the things that I really liked about the movie, which were a lot, by the way. Let's talk about it. First of all, location and cinematography. Finally, we are getting a student story being told on a beautiful student campus. Obafemi Awolowo is literally the most beautiful campus in Africa. Quote me anywhere. This movie made good use of the structures, the environment, the scenery and the landscape of the campus, the statues, the sculptures, especially the establishing shots. They were really, really beautiful. It was an architectural and artistic masterpiece at the same time. The cinematography did a lot of great work. I like how they use the wide angle lenses, to soak in the entire environment in itself. There's not much lingering shots, and they use these tracking shots that makes everything look really mobile, really dynamic, and really beautiful. I appreciate that Kunle Afolayan decided to maximize the use of OAU. Also, the other locations were not too bad. I know they shot in some places in Ife, Osun State. They shot in some places in Senegal, and they shot in some places in Cape Verde. The movie is very versatile in terms of its use of locations, and it kind of looks a bit like a documentary series because there are some montages that are sprinkled around the movie that show not just the location but the lifestyle of the people living in the location, the tourist attractions, the hotspots and everything. You could tell that the director and the cinematography were trying to produce an immersive experience to really draw you into the locations and the lifestyle of the society of the people that you are watching. That's not something a lot of movies do. I appreciate him for doing this. Some scenes tend to go on for like a long time. The class scenes, the party scenes, Koejo's karate fights, Seun Kuti's concerts. There are some scenes that just kind of went on for a long time, but they were entertaining and engaging, which is not something many filmmakers can achieve. There were also some little details like the various aspect ratios that were used when telling a story from the past and when coming back to the present and when flashing into different timelines and stuff. I noticed the aspect ratio keeps switching and changing to different sizes, and it wasn't too distracting. They didn't need to like keep writing dates and locations and all that. The aspect ratios alone were subtle ways to just code the timelines, and I really like that. That was beautiful attention to detail. Number 2, casting. The casting in this project is immaculate. A casting director has done his job well when you cannot think of somebody who could have played a role better than the person that played it. Like, everybody in this movie, every character in this movie were played by the right people. It just seemed like Kunle Afolayan had these people in mind before creating the characters, because everybody slotted in really nicely and there was genuine chemistry between everybody. It was also a very diverse cast. There were experienced professionals like Gabriel Afolayan, Iniedu, Joke Silva. There were theater practitioners in the educational sector like Toyin Bifari Ogundeji. Jimmy John Lewis came through on his A game, and he gave a good account on himself. I haven't seen Jimmy John Lewis in a long time. It was until I saw him again in this movie that I realized, wait, isn't this the guy from Heroes, the Asian from Heroes? And it was good again to see him acting in a movie from my country. Like, he really played that role. Like, he played the hell out of that role, and that was good. There are also the next kids on the block, the next generation stars like Bukumi Oluwashino and even Temi Otedola herself. Like, I expect her to become a movie star from this point on. There is no reason for you to start your movie career in such a big production and not do consequent works. Like, come on now. Come on, she has to do that. So all in all, I feel like the casting choices were magnificent. Like, this was good. Number 3, soundtrack. Now, this is something usually very understated in Nollywood. Like, they don't take their time to curate a proper musical score. They do well for the for the soundtracks or the music, the musical tracks that will be used in scene transitions and all that, but they don't really take time to structure a well curated musical score, music that guides you through every scene. Not even something with lyrics. It could just be instrumentals. It could just be like sound effects. Like, this movie nails it in terms of that. There were no popular music used. Maybe for the Senegal part, I don't know who sang that song, but it's not popular music to me. When it was the Nigerian scenes, when it was the music at the end, I think I might have heard Simi or something in a couple of tracks. I don't know if it was Simi, but I'm just guessing. I'm going to guess it was her. Her voice is very unique, so if Simi is singing or not. I think maybe she did like a couple of songs for the movie. Not confirmed, but that's just what I think. And the background music instrumentals were well paced. Like, there was this excitement in me when Lucien came in on his first introduction scene, and it was like my, and that my kind of landed perfectly on beat. Like, it's little details like this that gets me when it comes to Kunle Afolayan movies. Like, oh my god, this man is good. Those little details in terms of music, they go a long way to people who pay bigger attention to some smaller stuffs when watching a movie. Not many people would have noticed that, but I did. That's why you're here watching me, alright? Because you either agree or you never even knew about it. So I put you on. You're welcome. Number 4, plot. The plot was very well structured to me. I mentioned something about the timelines jumping in and out of each other, and there was still a coherence to the story. You didn't need to be told that this is a flashback, this is a present day. There wasn't any need to write it with text or something, because the way the plot moved, it was coherent and it was plausible. Nobody really did anything out of character. I could understand Moremi getting dragged by a little boy into a strange land just like that. Like I could understand it because Moremi's characteristics as somebody who can throw caution to the wind, somebody who loves adventure, it had been established in previous scenes. So I didn't really question it that much. Like, why is Moremi following this boy into a strange place? Because it seemed like something she could do. Also, the storyline was very well nuanced and layered. Like, there were some subliminal messages being dropped, and I like how some things said by some characters earlier in the movie kind of came back full circle at later points in the movie. Moremi said something in the earlier scenes about mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. And then those exact words were used against her by a friend in a different context, but very, very, very well believable. And there was a class scene where they were arguing about grievances and resolutions, and Moremi said something about how a resolution cannot be regarded as a resolution if all parties are happy but there is one party left unsatisfied. That kind of transferred parallel to her own story, because she's in a situation where she has brought forward a grievance and everybody could come to a reasonable resolution where she could be the unsatisfied party. If she lost the case, then that means there has been a resolution but she's left unsatisfied. Like, Moremi has to win the lecturer, the Senate, and the public that were beginning to turn on her. 4 parties are involved in this case, where 3 parties could get a reasonable resolution, but 1 party will be left unsatisfied. That was just such a little way to encapsulate the entire storyline into a single argument in a class scene. I watched this movie twice. I noticed that on the second watch and I was like, wait, did they just try to sneak this under our noses and they thought we wouldn't notice? Not on my watch. I did. And then I like how multilingual the movie is. Like, English was spoken, Yoruba was spoken, French was spoken, Portuguese was spoken. Like, it was very, very diverse, and it felt like there was something for everybody. And now, the negatives. First of all, Temi. This is not to be harsh on Temi, but I think she needs more work. She might have taken acting classes, she might have a flair for acting and all that, but acting is still a job. The least a job requires you to be is good at it. Now, Temi wasn't bad, but there is a lot of work to be done on her facial expressions. Most of the time, it felt like Moremi Oluwa just had a straight face. Like, there wasn't very much acting facially for Temi Otedola. Like, I couldn't really place her face. The final shot of the movie was a typical example of this, where the camera kind of, it was zooming in on her face, and I couldn't tell. Is she happy? Is she relieved? Is she feeling victorious? Is she tired? Like, it can't be all of those things at once. It had to be something, but I couldn't really place it because her face, she wasn't really doing much with her face. It was just, most of her acting is centered around the shape of her lips, how she shapes her mouth. And I feel like she needs more work. If she gets to work in more movies, practice makes perfection, and acting is a job of practicing and practicing and practicing. So I feel like if she has more work, if she gets more movies, she can really, own her acting skills much better than that. And also, what's the deal with Moremi's Yoruba? Is it a Moremi thing or is it a Temi thing? I've not heard Temi speak Yoruba in real life, I'll admit that. The Yoruba that Moremi was speaking in the movie, compared to everybody else's Yoruba, like, it felt like she wasn't really very fluent at it. Her French was more fluent than her Yoruba. Is it a character thing? Was it intentional? I can't really say, but the Yoruba was not. But overall, anyways, it was a good performance by Temi Otedola, and I appreciate Kunle Afolayan for always compensating her sins and putting one of the experienced actors to help out with the carriage of the scene. There wasn't really many instances where she was left alone to carry a scene, or she had to be alone in a scene. There weren't really many instances like that. She was always either with Joke Silva or Gabriel Afolayan or Iniedu, and those experienced actors really helped her in terms of making the work easier on her. Acting can be a very demanding job, especially when it comes with a big production like this, and for Temi to have pulled through with that, it shows that she has the strength and the potential to become bigger. Number 2, Lucien's wig. What the fuck was on this man's head all through the movie? Like, I had a difficult time believing this guy's hair in every single scene. It looked so fake. Like, if Tyler Perry watched this movie, I'm sure he'll be very proud of a lot of things in the movie. This wig would also be one of those typical Tyler Perry things. Now, about the plot, it's not as flawless as it's painted to be. There were some parts of the resolution that I'm not quite satisfied with. It wasn't that it was bad, but the message is sending across is not something I'm comfortable with, especially considering this is a movie, not a documentary. Moremi won the case. Fine, perfect. But the way she won the case left a lot to be desired. Like, she had to do the impossible to achieve this. She had to travel from Nigeria to Cape Verde to convince somebody, get a confession out of them, and then bring the person back to Nigeria to come and present that same confession, all within the space of 24 hours. Now, I'm not even going to get into whether that is something that is possible in reality or not. The point is, she had to do the impossible to gain advantage in a case where she was actually innocent. If she had to do all of this, and it's been established that Moremi is not your typical Nigerian student. She's young. She's in a master's program. She didn't do her first degree in Nigeria. She's probably from a rich background. The way she went about her lifestyle on campus and throughout the movie, it portrayed her as somebody who is more enlightened and more privileged than the ordinary average Nigerian student. If Moremi, with her resources and her privilege, still had to do all of this to win a case like this, then what about the less privileged Moremis? What about the average Moremis? Who's going to help them? She can't do all that. Even the Ajike program couldn't really do much to help her, except for maybe for the publicity. But then publicity is something anybody can get. What about the actual investigation? Why does the Senate not have an investigative department that can conduct proper, thorough investigations into cases like this? Why does it have to be the person that brought the case that had to do the running around and sourcing out witnesses all on her own? She was going to lose the case if she didn't bring the Portuguese guy into the picture, which sends a very, very dangerous message. It makes it look like when a student brings a case against a lecturer, regardless of whether that lecturer is actually guilty or not, the Senate is already biased to favor the lecturer. Now, the fact that this is so realistic is what pisses me off. And the movie also went that way of playing safe. I don't know why the movie did that, but it felt like the movie just wanted to preach to us about trusting in the system. But what has the system done to deserve this trust? Nothing. They didn't solve the case. If they had an investigative department, they would have found out about the things the lecturer had done in the past. In 3 to 4 days, they would have found this out and the case would have been done. But it dragged on, and it seemed like they were just trying to solve the case based on he said, she said. That's not good enough. How is Moremi's essay that was torn apart by the lecturer the last thing you guys are looking at, when it's supposed to be one of the first things you are looking at? She was going to retake the course and it was going to be the same lecturer. So the fact that he failed that deliberately didn't even factor into the judgment process until the final stages. I don't know if this is a blame on the movie or a blame on the Nigerian justice system, which is messed up, by the way. I just don't like how the movie indicated that we are supposed to trust into the system to get justice done for us, when even the movie itself, it was the main character that actually solved the case, not the Senate. So what exactly are students supposed to do now? Do we just report every case to the Senate and get no results, or do we take things into our own hands and try and force the issue into our advantage? The movie kept it in a gray area, and well, I don't know if I can blame them for that, but it could have been done better. And by the way, I hope the Ajike Advocacy Center is real. They've gotten tons of press from this movie now. It's only wise to take advantage of this platform and use it to help people in real life, which is something I feel the movie can help us achieve anyways. In conclusion though, I think this is a good movie. It's one of those Kunle Afolayan movies that you just have to like stand up and clap for it, because he has done a good job again. He has pushed boundaries. He has spoken about something that needed to be said. So yeah, the movie does a lot of things right, a few things wrong, but you can excuse the wrong things because it makes up for it. And if you have not seen Citation and you made it up to this point, well, you stubborn ass, go and watch the movie. It's a great movie. Yeah, that's about it for my review. You can hop in the comments and talk about what you agree or disagree with. Let me know if you have any questions, any comments, anything you want me to share my opinions on. The comments are open. My door is always open. If you like this video, let me get a thumbs up. Smash that subscribe button if you want to see more of my videos, and don't forget to get that bell logo to become part of the notification gang. That way you get notifications sent directly to your phone anytime I post up a new video. Thanks for watching, guys, and until I see you on the next one, freaky out.